Joe Taslim, welcome to An Actor Despairs. How are you doing, brother?
I'm really good, Ryan. Really happy to be here. Thanks for having me here.
Brother, it means so much to me having me here. I know I'm a white guy, but I grew up on kung fu films, man. That was
Oh,
kind of
cool.
it was really just Jet Li, Donnie Yang, Jackie Chan. They were all real heroes of mine. And back in the days when you could go to the video rental store and you could just talk to the guy about the best kung
Yeah.
fu movies that were coming over from China and Indonesia, and I would watch them. And man, I caught you in the raid. And the thing that I think is so incredible about you, brother, is that a lot of these martial artists turned actors, they have a certain style of martial arts, and they bring that to each project. But you, brother, you are an actor and a martial artist, and you develop the character. And I could be wrong, but it seems like the character comes first for you before
hmm
the style, and then whatever is appropriate for the respective character, you make that happen. And that's what I love about your work is like, dude, you are a beautiful man. Like, you're crushing it. You could beat Brad Pitt, brother. You're a badass, and
Ah,
and you're a character actor, dude. You develop real
thank you.
characters, and
Thank you very
I
much.
just love watching you work, brother. It means so much, and it's so inspiring. The
Thank you,
night
Ryan.
the night comes for us, man. I think might be one of
hmm
the. I think no disrespect to the producers of John Wick, but I think that's what they want. You know what I mean? Like I, because
I
that
love
movie
John Wick.
makes John Wick's great, but that movie makes John
Yeah,
Wick look
yeah.
like Forrest Gump. But
Wow,
dude,
thanks, Ryan.
oh man, thank you for being here. But dude, enough about my thoughts. Let's start with your journey, man. You grew up in Indonesia.
Mm. Yeah, I was born in South Sumatra, Palembang, an island below Java, and
Wow.
I grew up. I lived there till high school. And second year of high school, I joined national team of judo to
And
just train every day. Yeah.
talk to me, before we even get there. What Talk to me about your childhood. What did your parents do? Are they artists, or like are they in martial artists, or how did that bug catch you even before we get to acting?
Yeah, I'm the first person in my family, both my father's side and my mother's side, to be, an actor. So it's pretty amazing. But my dad, I grew up in a typical Asian parents. They kind of like choose the path for you.
Yeah.
So my parents, my dad especially, he was crazy about sports. So me and my two older brothers, he's kind of like, you guys school, and then after school, just do sports, because I want you guys to bring honor to the family.
Yeah.
And as double minorities, as a Chinese descent and non-Muslim, it's quite tricky. It was quite struggling every day. And my dad, he thought that if you give something to the country, that you will get respect. So
Mhm.
my dad thought that for me being an athlete, represent the country, represent the neighborhood, the family, bring honor, bring, raise the flag of Indonesian flag, you somehow you will get accepted
Yeah.
somehow. So it's true though. It's true though.
Yeah.
So sports, I moved one martial art to another. Trained wushu for like a year,
Okay.
and then taekwondo for a couple of months, and then joined judo and spent half of my life in that sport.
What was it about judo that attracted you? Like I had Selena Low on. Do you know Selena?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know him. I don't know her yet.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
she's a judoka.
No, no, she's just like an incredible martial artist, but she was talking about her
Ah,
different disciplines. And I'm
yeah,
curious
yeah,
because I know you're a judo champion, brother. And
yeah.
what was it, for all the laymen listening out there that don't understand martial arts, what was it that was so interesting to you about that specific style and form?
My story is a bit different than great stories about martial arts. I didn't love sport when I was a kid. So my dad kind of like forced me to do sport. And then I remember the first 2 years me doing judo. I didn't like it. I hated the sport. And
Yeah.
the only reason I trained because my dad forced me to do it. But the funny thing, when I won my first national championship in 1997, and I realized that, oh my God, he's right. This is amazing, to stand on this podium to get this gold medal, and everybody's kind of like you bring honor to your family, your neighborhood, to your province, and everybody just respect you more, adore you. So this is great. And then I fell in love with the sport
Wow.
after I won my first national championship. And then from there, I learned a lot. What I learned in judo until now, the summary of all is it's not about to be badass, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's not
Sure.
about to kick ass or to win a fight or whatever. I think the more I dive into this sport, this martial art, the more I don't want to fight, the more I can control myself, the more patient I am. If I see the potential to be a fight scene, like in a real life, I prefer to get out and then just not to
De-escalate.
fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because the point is, because I trained for 15 years, like 3 times a day. I trained, to fight in competition. In competition, even though it's sport competition, but still the vibe is your opponent want to destroy you,
Yeah.
and I want to destroy them. So I think channeled all this rage, anger to sport, to judo. Somehow in a real life, I turned to be a very uh, calm guy.
Yeah. You seem like
Uh,
so cool, you know? Like we could just be talking on a balcony, drinking whiskey and reminiscing. I love it, man. That's awesome.
yeah, and then I think that made me form me as a person in a very unique way that I know when I wear my gi, when I walk into on tatame to fight, I'll be different beast.
Yeah.
But when I get out, the fight is done. The fight
You
is
can
done, and
turn it
I
off.
don't. Yeah, I don't have to be a beast. I can be just a comedian or a
Yeah.
musician or just a joker or whatever. So the martial art, the athlete's life shaped and formed me to be this type of person. That's perfect to get into this industry, like acting.
Yeah.
Because what I think about acting is not you're not playing yourself, right? You're playing a character.
Yeah.
That you got to have multi personalities. That I believe great actors, they have multi personalities. They're not just
100%.
one color. So when 2007, I got my first gig, and it's a thriller horror movie. 2009,
Is that
I did
karma?
another Karma.
Yeah, yeah.
2009, I did another movie. It's non-action, and The Raid was my first action movie. And then I fell in love with uh, the director because I watched his first movie, Marantau.
Gareth, right?
Yeah, Gareth Evans. I
Yeah.
watched his movies with Marantau, and then I made a promise to myself that I was still doing athlete back then, and I can like if I do action movie, I need to work with this guy. So from there, I kind of stalk them, find out who he is,
Yeah.
looking for opportunity, and text him one night, ask for an audition, and he gave me that audition.
For Jaka in the raid?
For The Raid. Yeah.
Wow. And at this point, prior to this, I'm curious, what was your relationship with cinema and pop culture? Were you consuming American content? Were you consuming Chinese content? Like who was influencing you?
I My influences now and for the last 5 7 years, I think Korean cinema,
Okay, amazing.
and of course American pop cultures, American movies, TV shows. I think they're not the same the way they approach performance and acting.
Yeah.
So I think because of culture, the different culture as well. Because in the West, think about melancholic is something, and then over the age performance is not really. They don't really do that. Which is in Korean cinema, in Asia in general, but Korean cinema for the last 10 years, they're really into it. That performance is always almost like like almost you cross the line,
Yeah.
the way they approach acting. So my influence are both. So I kind of find good balance of how the West approach acting and how the Asian, like especially Korea, approach acting. So it's unique.
Yeah.
It's technical. I know acting is not technical, but if you really look into it, you can actually write it down, the differences. Yeah.
That's amazing. And having how did you hear about the raid? Was that something that was, because it's such an incredible and Titanic and now I mean just like one of the greatest films of all time. And like at that time, Gareth had worked, but I don't think he is what he is now. So talk to me about like how you heard about the production and obviously I imagine they were looking for people that were trained, but tell me how it came your way.
Well, I text Gareth one night through Facebook.
No
On
way,
through
really?
Facebook.
You were
Yeah.
hustling. I love it.
I stalked him. I gotta be honest. I
Yeah.
told him that I stalked you because I really wanted to work with you, and I found, kind of like finding out who you are or what movie you're doing. So and one night I just braved myself to text you, ask for opportunity, right? And then I text him. I introduced myself. I know I used to be a judo athlete. I love your movie. I want to really pursue my dream to be an actor. If you could just please give me one chance, and then if you don't like it, just throw me out the door.
Yeah.
And then he texted me back, and yeah, we're planning to do this movie called The Raid, and then we're looking for fighters. Actually, at that point, he looking for fighters, people who can fight, not really that Jaka role. So I
Yeah.
went to see him. I did the fighting audition, and then he looked at me, right? He looked at me for quite long, and then I want you to come back. I want you to read this line. I want you to play this role. So it was a task. So he gave me a script of Jaka. It was quite like 2 pages of monologue, because that's the briefing in the truck, which is
Oh,
is a is
wow.
a it's a
With the
freaking two
SWAT
pages
team.
monologue.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, really? I thought you were looking for a fighter, but let's just try it and try to play this role.
Yeah.
And then he gave me an hour, and then he went back to see me, and are you ready? Oh yeah, let's do it. And then he recorded everything, and I performed the best I can, the best I could. And then he said, like, come back again tomorrow. So funny. And then he come back to, because I was pretty new in Indonesia. So that type of role usually they go for a famous actor, right?
Right.
Because
Totally.
monologue, performance, fight, everything this character is doing a lot of things. So he said, he talked to me that he needed to argue with all the producer. I want this guy. And the other producer, no, we need to find like known
A
actor
big
for
now,
this
a
one.
Jet Li or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
And then, okay, you need to come back. And then everybody was there, the producer and all these all executives there. And then they did a screen test, and I did my screen test, and then I got their trust.
Wow.
Yeah.
How
So
did
it
you
was quite a journey.
talk to me about finding that confidence to come back in? Because that is such a sink or swim moment, like when you have all these producers and you have this thing, it's like even if you don't bring like 120%, they can
Yeah.
see it. So how did you just channel all that confidence you had from fighting and in all those championships? Like how did you pull it off, brother?
Well, that was my first role to play, military police kind of role. But, in 15 years in sports life as an athlete, I learned a lot of things. I learned, you know, how to, all these experiences, lose, break your knee, dislocate your shoulder, in tears when you're winning, in tears when
Yeah.
you're losing, in tears when you see your friends losing. So I experienced crazy dramatic, you know, that's possible as a human being. So I brought all of them. And then the way I approach in a performance always that I need to make this role my role.
Yeah.
I know they have expectation how this role is gonna look like, gonna sound like, but the way I approach is I don't really care. I'm just gonna play it the way I comfort. If you don't like it, then fine, because this is the way I believe. So I performed that role the best I could. But I always, it's funny about me when I'm in that zone is always like almost like possession, almost like when it's on, then it's on. You know what I'm saying? Like it just when you open the door and you get inside, and then I kind of like forgot about reality. It's
Yeah.
just like it's just great feeling that you're in the shoes, in this character's shoes. They're so free to do everything, and then you just of course you gotta follow the character's background, all this stuff, but the way he talks, the way he looks, it's just great to become somebody else.
Yeah.
I know that's weird. I know that's weird.
No, it's not. No, because you. This is what I was saying at the beginning, brother. Because you're a leading man in the sense that you're incredibly good looking, but you're so transitional. You know, Jaka is so different than Lee. From like everything I see you, I don't see Joe. I see the character, and so the work you did
Thank
in
you.
that is incredible. So talk to me about having all this incredible fighting experience. Then you have these demanding action sequences, and I'm sure there's like it must be weird to like, okay, I do know what I'm doing fighting wise, but then you have stunt choreographers helping you map that out. Is that a tricky thing to navigate, to relinquish, trust to people that are going to choreograph something for you?
Yeah, trust is the most important thing. I need to trust Gareth 100%, trust his decisions, and I know he trusted me. Um, I need to trust the choreographers because what if I have worry, if I have doubts, then that's fatal for me,
Yeah.
especially in a fight scene. So I train a lot. The great thing about when yeah, I was an athlete because I know how to train myself. I have my
Yeah.
own program. I know how to train my endurance. I know the important thing about muscle endurance, muscle volume, that, and then VO2 max.
Yeah.
I know everything. What most of most of them, that really important to always stand from morning till evening fighting. So
Yeah.
I have that background and trust. We train a lot for a couple of we train like 3 4 months before we shoot. I think Iko, Yayan, they're the choreographers of that movie. And then because I know I was a judoka, right?
Yeah.
I'm a judoka, and then that's 100% silat. It's a new martial art for me.
Yeah.
Then I try to understand the art. I train the best I can, just nonstop training, and try to get into this outfit. If martial art is if it's music, martial art, different martial art is like instrument, piano,
Got
the
it. Yeah.
trumpet, guitar. So I'm like say judo, I'm a guitar guy, and I'm gotta get into this piano. But the music is the same. It's about rhyme, rhythm, rhyme,
Yeah.
rhapsody. But to get into this outfit, this silat outfit, that I need to really, really like train myself, like nonstop.
And when you were, not even just, in these rehearsals, but when you started filming, I mean, did you know at the time what you were filming was so special, the experience? Because it's just like that. I mean, wasn't it airsoft guns that you guys were using, and you put that in
Yeah,
both?
yeah,
Like, I mean, what a film, man. I mean, it just it took the world over, rightfully so, and it's so beautiful to
yeah,
see justice prevail on a film like that, because
yeah,
the West, Americans can be so hard on subtitles, and everyone rallied around that film,
yeah. Well, it was low budget movie, right? And then we couldn't afford to have like blank bullets, because blank
Yeah.
bullets is if you need thousand of them, it's expensive.
Yeah.
So we use airsoft and we acted out. We acted out everything. And I remember even the slow mo, we couldn't afford expensive camera for slow mo. Remember, there's a scene slow mo when the door is about to open and these guys,
Yes, I do remember.
and
Yeah.
then that guy literally need just to do it in very slow mo, and the camera helped to pick up that slow mo and enhance the slow mo and to make it slow motion because we couldn't afford expensive camera.
Wow.
So a lot of things we use imaginations in that movie, but the vibe, the spirit, the energy in that movie was so beautiful.
Yeah.
I felt I didn't feel like working at all. I felt like a kid playing in under the rain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I could just do it 24 hours
Yeah.
until my body stops because the energy was like that, and everybody felt the same. So it was amazing project. We tricked everything. We couldn't afford stuff, and we find a way to make it, to make it work.
Yeah.
In the fight scenes, because Gareth, he was so perfectionist directing the raid. So he always like, I only move on if I see a 9 out of 10 in every shot. So if you guys want to go 8, then we have to do it again. I don't care. So every shot is perfection.
Yeah.
So a lot of takes for sure. 15 takes, that's normal.
Yeah.
We did average 20 takes each shot,
Wow.
action.
That's
So
insane.
so first month bruises here and there, you felt it, and then after a month, somehow it's part of you. I
Yeah.
felt like a real police in a battle. You know what I'm saying? Which is great for acting. So if you really feel the pain, the exhaustion, the suffocation of your character because you work so hard, that helped me a lot in my performance. I think that's the beautiful thing about that movie, because we work extra hard, like 15,
It
15
should.
hours easy, 15
Wow.
hours easy a day.
It shows, brother. And I gotta ask, when that film comes out, does that change everything for you? Suddenly, Hollywood is now calling, did that immediately, did your phone start ringing?
Well, it changed a lot. That movie opened the door for me.
Yeah, for
Not
something like
not just
Fast
yeah,
Six, right? Like that, and
yeah,
Star Trek. Did that was it the
yeah.
raid that made those films possible for
Oh
you?
yeah, oh
Wow.
yeah. I remember Justin Lin watched the raid on Sundance,
Yeah.
or I don't know, in festival, and then he asked me to be in Fast and Furious 6, right? And then I met him in person on set. He said like, I watched the raid, and then I told my wife that I need to get you in my movie. I was like, really? I thought it was an audition. No, no, no. I knew I needed you in this movie. So it was crazy. That movie introduced me to the world, and
Yeah.
then introduced me to all these great filmmakers that believed in me. I think that's so powerful, and I'm blessed and grateful.
Well,
Yeah,
you deserve it, brother, because you work so hard and you brought such fundamental truth and discipline and everything that you
thank
you
you.
learned from your athletics. So talk to me about going from, what was kind of I don't want to say low budget, but you guys obviously had airsoft guns and you didn't do it to something like Fast Six where there's no penny spared. There's explosions and they got all Universal Studios. It's just writing checks. Was that a fun experience to see it from that angle to jump to just the ultimate production experience?
Well, from $1 million movie to 150 or $60 million movie, that's crazy, crazy different, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I was surprised, for all the perks in Hollywood. Like you have a nice car, and then they pick you by yourself, put you in a nice hotel,
Fly
or
first class.
yeah, and
Yeah.
everything was unreal for me, to be honest. And I remember but I talked to a lot of friends as well because wow, this is like a dream. This is
Yeah.
not real.
It must have been
And then
overwhelming in some ways, was it?
yeah,
Yeah.
it was. I was kind of like, I'm here to work, I'm here to shoot. I gotta always focus. This is beautiful, but the way I think, the way I believe, my perspective is, the studio gave me so much, perks, fancy perks, beautiful, for a purpose, because they want me to perform
Yeah.
the best I could, the best I can, not even 1% of distraction. So these things is supposed to enhance my performance. I cannot get distracted or be distracted. So so it's good to have that thinking, because it's so easy to to kind of like, oh, it
Get
feels like
lost
holiday.
in all the yeah. Driving your Lamborghini to set.
So yeah, and then I'm working in both worlds now. I'm still working here in Indonesia, which the budget is like way lower compared to Hollywood, and I'm still working in Hollywood. So it's great
Was that
to
important
be.
to you to stay true to your roots, to be able to, I still want to do these wonderful Indonesian films, but
Yeah,
I definitely want to work in America. Was that something that you always made sure to do and to stay on, on your true guiding north?
yeah, yeah. I still believe that my career started here. I need to always, think this is home. I need to always work here, and then, help the industry here to evolve, to grow, while still working in Hollywood. So it's just beautiful to experience both worlds. And well, I always believe that when I work here, there's nothing, I work in Hollywood, all the perks, and I come back here. I work in the industry, which is they just give me like this wooden chair, and then not no trailer, sometimes no
Keep
double.
you
The
humble.
food, yeah, the food is like in a box. Because in Hollywood, the food's kind of like a wedding party every day,
Yeah.
right?
It's like Nobu
So
sushi. Yeah, it's so crazy.
yeah, so I think for me, I think it's interesting, when I work here and like, this is kind of cool. Well, I miss this, this
Yeah.
is nice. I love both worlds. I love, because here everything is limited, but everything is so flexible here as well. Because Hollywood, the perks and everything is just, dreamy, but everything is very strict there,
Yeah.
by contract, by rules. You can't do this, you can't do that, you can't say this. In Indonesia, everything is limited in terms of what you see, but what you feel, it feels like, home.
And getting something like Fast and Star Trek, did that allow a film like The Night Comes for Us to be made and back home for you? Because that it does seem like that was a big budget movie, or it certainly looks like it.
That movie, for Indonesia, is quite big. I think it's around 3 to 5. Still nothing compared to
Oh
Hollywood.
wow, because it looks so amazing, man. I would
Yeah, I
net
think Timo, yeah, our director Timo, he's very efficient.
yeah.
He know what he's doing, so everything is just effective and efficient. So he can just, press the budget low and still have beautiful visuals on screen.
That's amazing. And how was that experience doing that film, where you're this edgier, badass, kind of triad guardian, was that a really fun story? Because I love that movie, man. I mean, I reference it to people, man. It's just,
Thank you.
one of the best action movies, if not the best I had ever seen.
Thank you so much. That was my first lead action movie. That
Yeah.
comes for us.
You really
Yeah.
carry that film.
Thank you. That movie was so special because, I remember that we needed to find a really strong main villain for the movie. Just and then it was quite hard before, and then Eco Wise, my brother, he was busy before, he couldn't do it, and then by the time we wanted to shoot it, he was free, and then we asked him, "Do you wanna, do this project? Want to play something different, to play a villain, because you
From the
usually play,
raid, right? He was in the
yeah,
raid. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he was really protagonist in his movies before." So he was like, yeah, let's do it. I want to play something different. Put me in. So I'm so grateful I have him in the movie. That changed a lot because he's the choreographer as well.
Oh, he was. I didn't know
He
that. Wow.
choreographed the raid 1, raid 2, and that comes first. So he helped me a lot. He choreographed the movie for me. I am the lead, and he played the bad guy. So I'm so grateful. A lot of friends, they gave so much trust and belief, and then that made me wanna, that movie was so special that I gave everything.
Yeah,
I
it
gave
shows.
everything for that movie. Not because of sometimes fame, opportunity, they're important, but for me, when people believe in you, when people
Yeah.
trust you, that's above everything. So
Yeah.
I that's kind of like multiply my energy to 10 times.
Yeah, yeah. That's incredible, brother. And I'm curious then, I mean, obviously you had that relationship with Justin Lin who had immense trust for you. So when something like Warrior starts becoming, an idea to be made, was he calling you to tell you about that?
Yeah. Well, I think Justin Lin is the director. I worked 3 projects with him. I think he's the only one that I work,
Wow. That
same
many.
same person that I worked 3 projects. The Fast and Furious 6, Star Trek Beyond, and Warrior. And he told me about Warrior back in, well, way long time ago when he was still developing that project. 2013, when
Okay.
we're shooting Star Trek. We were shooting Star Trek in Vancouver. So he told me about that project. He told me that he and Shannon, they were developing this Bruce Lee story called Warrior, and then when the time comes, I'm gonna call you. And he called me in 2017 about it. And yeah, I'm like, I trust him. He
Yeah.
trusts me. I trust him, and I didn't really have to, see or read anything. I was like, you want me to be in the show? What is the show about? It's about Bruce Lee. Is it important for our community? Is it important for, you know, for diversity and all this stuff? Yeah, this show is very important. Okay, put me in. I didn't know what character before, and then they sent me a script about Leong, and I studied the character.
Oh, it was
But
always
for
for
me,
Lee. You were always going to be seen for Lee.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Justin is very unique and very friendly. He's a brother of mine. He's like, I don't know what character we don't have the script yet, but
Yeah.
I just want you to be in it. So,
He's your homie,
well, we'll
man.
figure
Yeah.
it out. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll figure it out because I need you in the show. I think I'm just gonna. There must be a character for you that you can play. So it's yeah, Leon designed for me to play that. I'm happy. I'm happy. Jonathan Tropper, wrote this character beautifully, and all the writers.
And
So we get, yeah, season 3 is coming. So I hope the characters evolve more and people get to see more about him.
well, especially, brother, I mean, I don't think I have to tell you, but where we are in the world with this horrible animosity from these racist, disgusting people towards, Asian and Pacific Islanders. It's so great to see a show that has not only a majority Asian cast, but three-dimensional characters that are not just,
Yeah,
idea like
yeah,
you like even Lee, even though, him and Assam kind of have, a rivalry, there's a
yeah,
humanity to Lee and you like
yeah,
him and
yeah.
like talk to me about that season 1 fight scene. I mean, was that something you guys choreographed for months, because it's one of the most incredible fight scenes I have
Ah,
ever seen.
thank you. That's so
And
nice to
dude,
hear
I
this.
mean, you're looking good in that, man. You got to give me some diet, some training tips, dude. Summer's coming, man. I gotta have the my Joe pump.
Well, in TV show, that's Warrior is was my first TV show. Well, we didn't have a lot of time, to prepare because one episode is 9 to 10 days, and then the action probably 2 3 days. So with this, second unit, couple of days, I remember we trained enough, but I remember Koji and me, we trained by ourselves in the weekend. So we
Yeah.
went to the park and just, played the choreography and then dance in that song like every weekend before the fight. So that helped a lot. And Koji, he's just like a hard worker that just never satisfied. about anything. He just want to, want everything to be perfect. So that fits me because I'm a perfectionist myself. So we share the same energy. So weekend people go to, the beach or go to the club or whatever, but both of us, we
You were
just
in
go to the
Cape Town
park.
rehearsing. That's awesome.
Yeah, we just go to the park, and then like a lot of people like kind of like what these two Asians doing in the park fighting. But we did like I just forget about them. We just train, 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 and then I'm glad that you love that fight. We put a lot of work in
Oh,
that
it's
fight.
one of the best fight. Man, I mean, when I'm at the treadmill, like struggling, I rewatch it on YouTube. So I'm just like, keep pushing, Ryan, keep pushing. But that's
Thank you.
awesome, man. You're so incredible in that show, and congratulations on season 3. When that happens, you'll have to come back. But here we're here to talk about Mortal Kombat. I
Mhm,
don't think
mhm.
you and I are that far in age. Obviously, I grew up playing the game. Did you play the game as
I
a
grew
child?
up playing the game.
So
Yeah,
you
I remember.
so
Yeah.
what did that feel like when because did you like the 1995 film? I loved it.
I enjoyed it so much because I remember I was like teenage, and then I loved the game. I played the game like very often, and then when the movie came out, I was jumping around because it's just great to see the characters that I played like on screen, like
Yeah.
alive. That's amazing feeling. And then until now, I rewatched it again before we shoot. Such a great and fun movie.
Yeah.
It just so special for the fans, and I'm a fan. I know. Yeah.
So talk to me when
Mm.
obviously I don't know if it's related because I know, Warrior is done by Cinemax, which is sort of a Time Warner relative, at that point, was it, your relationship on Warrior that got the phone call from Mortal Kombat, or was it totally unrelated?
I think it was totally unrelated. And I got the call from my agent because Simon McCoy, the director, asked for me personally.
Wow.
So so it's the same case like Justin. So Simon watched my previous projects, previous movies, and then he just told a new line. He told me the story. When I met him on set, when I they offered me the to direct this movie, the first actor that came out of my mind, Sub Zero needs to be you. So I was like, really? Yes,
Yeah.
you need to be Sub Zero. The only actor, the first actor we need to cast is you. And Sub Zero, you're the actor that can only play Sub Zero. I was flattered.
Yeah. And it must have been cool because like obviously I know there was a sequel that wasn't as successful, but Sub-Zero didn't really exist as a character in the first one. It was more
Yeah,
just an action. So what did it feel like to
yeah,
have an opportunity to create the psychology of this character from scratch? I mean, that must have been so cool.
yeah. Well, I'm grateful because the story kind of like give more screen time to Sub Zero about because yeah, like you said, two previous movies, he was just kind of like a kick-ass in with a mask and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
show up a couple of scenes and die. So in this movie, I loved the character. I researched a lot, and then it's just amazing character to play. When I found out about like his background, there's a lot to play. He's not just a blue ninja throwing eyes.
No.
He's a mixed race cryomancer and Asian American woman, beautiful family, got abducted by the Lin Kuei, forced to be assassins, shaped and doctrinized to be a killer. But deep inside, I believe his DNA is not evil.
Yeah.
I believe he still has something inside of him. But when I when I dive into this character, I made this assumption, made this imaginary was thinking that I believe human beings in this world, there is a human when he is trapped in the darkness looking for a light,
Mhm.
right? But there are other people that when he's trapped in the darkness, he just go deeper and deeper and get lost. That's behind Sub-Zero, the way I approach the character.
Yeah.
And then to understand that, to play it on screen, all those information and knowledge kind of like made me smooth and when it just made me easier to get into this world of him.
Yeah. And those battles with Scorpion, getting to work with another martial arts legend, what did that feel like? I mean, you get two incredible fight scenes at the beginning and closer towards the end, I mean, was that also I mean, wearing that kind of heavy of a costume, what was it like, being that limited by, because it looked like you had pounds and pounds of
Yeah,
I imagine that was constricting. Was that tough?
it was heavy. It was very stiff. I couldn't really move that free, but I think, well, that's the character, right? That's the costume. Logically, a person wearing this metal armor here and there, of course, he's not going to walk like a ballerina.
Yeah.
He's going to walk. He's going to walk certain way to carry that weight. And then rather than thinking about it as distraction, I kind of use that way to help me, the way I walk, the way I look, the way I move, right? So, but it took me 3 weeks to really adapt with the weight and stiffness. And then I remember like back pain, neck
Oh,
pain for three
sure.
weeks. And after a month, I embodied the costume. We become one. Is
Yeah.
it's easy to say. The costume, I feel the costume is not like separable. What do you call it? It's not a part of me. It's not, what do you call it? Is separation of.
You,
It's not separation anymore. It's part of me already.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You became one in synchron.
yeah,
That's incredible. And,
yeah.
I mean, obviously, another film where it seems like no penny was spared. Were you on the weekends rehearsing this? Because, like, it seems like you gave this film everything, man. I mean, it's so beautiful, and the scenes are so awesome to watch, and I love that they, put out the opening scene. That was such a great marketing move, and you get so hooked into your character, I mean,
Wow.
talk to me about the experience of filming this, going from being a childhood fan of the video game to now being the first, actor to get to develop Sub-Zero. That must be so cool.
Yeah, yeah. It was quite a journey. I remember to finding him. It was quite a process. I remember a lot of discussions that we had, me, producer, and Simon, the director, because I knew somehow I knew how I want to play it.
Yeah.
But as an actor, you gotta pray to God that the director, he's on the same path with you, because if he's not, then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Because whatever you do, he's gonna say no, 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 no. So well, I'm so grateful. I was blessed because Simon, he was very open. He's a great listener, and he supported all his actors. He listened to them, and then when he said no a lot of times, but he supported the craft. He supported the acting. He's not treating the actors like a puppet.
Yeah.
Because he told me that the reason the reason I hired you for this role, because I know that you're gonna play it beautifully. So I'm not gonna like dictate you. I'm just gonna let you grow and grow, but I'm just gonna guard you where you cannot cross the lines, right? So the process it was quite interesting, because I remember every morning I just Simon, I need to talk to you. And I'm thinking about this, and he just listened. He's like, okay, do that. And then if you the process, even the costume process, it was quite beautiful, because there is a part in the final fight that you see the inner layer of the costume.
Yeah.
So I think I discussed with the choreographer as well. I want this character to have a journey, because everybody knows, all the fans know he's gonna die, right? Because
Yeah.
it's in a movie, is Mortal Kombat lore. So, but to make it different, I want the audience, the fan, to see the process, the journey. So we see he's protected with the armor. We see he's, get stabbed here, throw here and there. And then I want to have a second layer of the costume. I want the audience to see everything is falling apart. The costume is falling apart. The mask breaks. He take off the mask,
Yeah.
and we see him like the way the first scene, like we saw him. he lost everything. He lost everything. He lost his breath. He's exhausted, and then he's wounded. I
And
want the
two
audience to
people
see
fighting
that
him this
journey.
time, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Wow.
I think it's just different. Sometimes we see a fight, it's just who's gonna win, who's gonna lose, right? Who's gonna die, who's gonna win. But I always believe in a fight. In the middle of that, there are a lot of things we can give to the audience, a lot of stories, a lot of like message of the fight, the story of the fight. So I'm blessed because choreographers, directors, producers, writer, they're on my back. They
Well,
supported me all the way.
they certainly did, but you rose to the occasion, and it's so hard to do, and I have such tremendous respect and gratitude for that, brother. And it was so inspiring to watch. What's it been like? Obviously we've had a tough year with everyone being locked at home, but now having the film out and the world seeing it and everyone loving it. What has that experience been like for you?
Well, I'm proud. A lot of my friends from my hometown called me and told me that, you remember you used to play in my house because you didn't have Sega, right? And you went to my house for like hours to play Mortal Kombat, and you're playing Sub-Zero now. So it's beautiful, bro. Um, it's a it's a dream come true for me because I'm a gamer. I'm quite a nerd. I'm crazy about games, crazy about Mortal Kombat, and I got to play the iconic character of the game. And then hearing until now all the mentions and direct messages, like Insta stories, tag, people just you know love the character.
Yeah.
People like the fans say thank you. For me, like winning all the awards in the world,
Yeah. Well, you deserve all the awards in the world, and that's so
Thank you.
beautiful. I'm curious, brother, because you are obviously an incredible action, but you're also an incredible actor, going forward.
Thank
Are
you.
are are you interested in doing projects that are just acting and don't require action? Is that something that might interest you, or do you
For
like doing?
sure.
You do. Awesome.
Yeah, I think I always, put myself an actor first. Martial arts is skill, like other stuff, other skills. Like you're an actor, you can do skydive, that's skill. You can ride a horse, or you can speak 5 different languages. Those are skills. And martial art is one of those skills.
Yeah.
But the main portion, the main dish is acting as an actor. So I never really box myself that because now everybody knows I can kick
Yeah.
ass on screen. So I always want to try to get out of my comfort zone
Yeah.
to do something different, to do comedy or to do non-action, totally non-action movie. That's my dream.
Yeah.
That's the thing that me and my agents, my manager, we need to do something different because I don't want to be trapped and comfort, even
Yeah.
though, people will hire me for action movies. But for me, myself as an actor, I need the only way to grow is you have to go to the uncomfort zone, right?
Yeah. Challenge yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. Come to New York and let's do a play together, brother, on
Let's
Broadway.
go.
That's awesome, man. But, you know, dude, I'm so grateful for you being here. A few fun questions for you, Joe. It's been a
Mhm.
really tough year, with the pandemic, and obviously, there's been so much Asian hate, and it's been really horrific, and I, really want to take a moment to acknowledge everyone out there that's been hurting, and know that we support everyone, and we believe that any kind of hate is not allowed, and should never ever exist. I'm curious, throughout all this madness, what has been keeping you inspired?
Well, I never see color, religions, race. Hate is hate, love is love, right? I believe in this difficult situation, a lot of people, got hurt. A lot of people lost their members of
Yeah.
their family, people they love. People are angry. People are like frustrated, and then hate is the only way. It's easier to hate rather than finding positive solution, right? So me myself, I don't want to, you know, like the race towards Asian American, Asian all over the world. I think for me, if we, if we, what do you call it? If we fight back with hate,
Yeah.
then it's endless.
Yeah.
I think all we got to do now is just not to be afraid. I think because terror, hate, the purpose of those things are to make us afraid,
Yeah.
to make us fear, to make us feel fear. So for me, like telling all my Asian friends out there all over the world, just don't be afraid because we're not alone. Not just Asian. I believe our black friends, white friends, Hispanic friends, they're with us because no one loves hate.
Yeah.
Everybody's hating what's going on with to Asian Americans, like what happened to like the
And
incident before, like Black
it,
Lives Matter.
yeah.
The world's hold hands together to support the injustice. I believe these things will fade as long as we still holding hand together, all of us, not just Asian. And then all those important Asian people out there keep fighting, keep inspiring. Like afraid is the last thing we wanna feel in these difficult situations.
Yeah.
So be brave.
That's so beautiful. And that kind of echoes into my final question is, for all the young, wide-eyed Joes that are, 18, 17, maybe martial artists, maybe not, and want to get into this business and, maybe feel limited by their type, their ethnicity, and,
Yeah,
are interested in pursuing a career in acting. Any words of
yeah.
wisdom or advice you would have?
Well, my situation, it was hard for me. It was hard for me even in Indonesia. So I think what I can say, what I can give advice is you got to know that you're good,
Yeah.
even though you're not.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I think uh this is art, right? There's no
Yeah.
right or wrong.
Yeah.
There's no like 10, 9, 7. There's no score. Art is art.
Yeah.
And then we always, even great actors, they're still learning. They're
Yeah.
learning every day. So in this profession, I think you need to just, well, whatever experience, whatever can get you into experiencing emotions, that help a lot in performance. Because if you're just a happy guy since you were a kid until now, there's nothing to play, right?
No, you got no
So that's
drawing board.
why,
Yeah.
yeah, you gotta not put yourself in trouble, but I mean, you know, dive yourself in like help people
Yeah.
feel what they feel, feel what the pain of them. You don't have to feel the pain. So all those emotions, experience of life, they're like 80% of acting. And 20% you can read the book, technical stuff,
Yeah,
where the
totally.
camera, where the lights, but practicing your lines, it's technical. You can practice that
Yeah.
because it's practicable.
For
but
sure.
but the convey emotion to play a character, I think actor needs to experience a lot.
Yeah.
Then you can have a performance, like layered performance, not just one dimensional performance. So yeah, I mean, all young actors out there, I think just get out, experience life,
Yeah.
travel, help people feel their pain, feel their happiness too. And then those emotion experiences are like almost the key to great performance.
Yeah. I fully agree. And to making you a better person. That's so beautiful,
Yeah.
brother. And in any projects you can announce that, that are in the near future for you, or, anything that's in the immediate horizon.
This year I am pretty much jobless.
I'm right there with you, brother.
Well, I'm very picky. I think after 10 years of my career, right? I There are a lot of like offers that I didn't believe. in the script. I didn't believe in the character. That I think it was a mistake if I do it for whatever reason. I
Money.
think
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
the first reason, I need to believe in the script and the role first. Even though low budget, even though micro budget, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. But if you see a gem, a script, and a character that you can give, I can do something in this character. Then it's that type of project that I will say yes.
Yeah.
And that's not easy.
Yeah. It's not.
Yeah, that's not easy. So I'm still looking for the gem, still
Yeah.
looking for the right gem. I think responsibility is very important because maybe the movie could collapse, the movie could be flop, but you trust the character, it's
Yeah.
unreplaceable, because the movie could flop, but you believe in the character, there will be no regret.
No.
But yeah, if you say yes to something that you doubted at first
It's
and then
already
something
set up
happened,
for not
yeah,
success right there. Yeah.
you cannot really forgive yourself.
Yeah.
You're gonna like be miserable. I don't like that. I just
Oh,
wanted to I have to trust my project. Yeah.
I love the attitude, and Joe, I got so much respect and love and appreciation for what
Thank
you
you,
do,
Ryan.
and it means so much for you coming on and giving back. And let's do this again soon, brother. And I got
Yeah,
so
let me
much
know.
immense gratitude, man. And I'm looking forward to seeing you at the Oscars, and I'm gonna be like, I told you, dude. And then I'll bring you to do that play. We'll take over Broadway together.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you so much. I can tell you watch Warrior and that you love that show.
Oh
And
yeah,
thank you for
yeah.
the support.
No, thank you for inspiring me, man. It's been not the most fun times in the world, and your content has really lifted me up in everything that you do. So I really mean everything with sincerity. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you very much, Ryan.
All right,
Looking
Joe.
forward to talk soon.
Yeah, to be continued, brother. Okay.
Okay.
All
Okay,
right.
bro.
Get
Bye
some
bye.
rest. Okay. All right.
Bye bye. Thank
Bye.
you.